riders have been itching for the next series to compete in. March 2nd and 3rd, PRO returns to Horn Rapids for the 509 Northwest MX Series presented by U.S. Air Force Special Warfare. Join us for the biggest series in the Northwest and compete among the best riders. The gate drops now.
Join us for the opening rounds of the Northwest MX Series at Horn Rapids. For all information and complete race schedule, make sure to go to PacificRacingMX.com.
Pacific Northwest Motocross, are you ready for the 30 plus 2 podcast with Gravy and Gate Drop? Let's go!
What is up? It's the 30 plus 2 podcast.
Hey, that voice sounded a little familiar.
Welcome to Monster Energy Supercross. I don't think I have it, unfortunately, Gravy. What's going on, Grayson? It's
not much. We just
30
chilling.
Podcast. You're just chilling. Looks like you got even better camera, so the budget has been up from $5 to $7 for this podcast. We are $750. Still less than a Subway footlong right now.
Right?
What happened to $5 footlongs? Damn inflation.
Damn, that was like 20 years ago now.
Welcome to the 30 plus 2 podcast. As you can tell from last weekend to this weekend, it's officially busy season for me. So we're becoming even less prepared and becoming other podcasts that, went, came, and gone and disappeared. Hopefully we don't disappear, but I think Grayson's got it at least handled for us. So at least half of us got stuff ready.
If you need to take a day off, I can always cover too. We'll be here. We'll be here one way or another.
You just sit there solo, just stare, be like, here we are.
I can show you my action figures.
Check out my collection.
Right.
All right. Well, Pac West came, it went, people showed up, and people left. I guess when it gets to this point of the season with Woodland, if it rains, people pack up their stuff and leave. And luckily, it did not rain that bad. I don't know if you caught any of my photos that I posted, but it was not an absolute mutter.
No, it didn't look bad at all for a Woodland race, honestly. It was pretty mild for, what we can really see around here.
Yeah, it just kind of sprinkled, but that was about it. What'd you end up doing this weekend? Did you just watch Supercross? Did you head to Albany, Eugene? What was the whole plans?
I was hoping I was going to try to make it down to Albany, but with the incoming rain and stuff, you know how I am. I'm a fair weather person. So I hung out and did some couch side reporting for some Supercross this weekend. Got to watch race day live as it was airing and Supercross. So trying to keep up to date on that for us.
Yeah. For me, who was stuck with little to zero service, because you know how Woodland is, I couldn't watch anything, and I was also super busy with round 1 and 2 of the Pac West series.
Yeah,
what do you think about Race Day Live?
Weekend.
Anything spark interest on the show before all the racing started?
Nothing really stuck out to me. Honestly, I felt like this weekend was pretty quiet for the most part. Super cool to see Ryan Brees and a lot of the Arena Cross guys show up for Arlington this weekend. Super cool because we had him on the show a couple weeks ago, and now he's, getting main events in Supercross. So that's pretty cool to have.
Yeah. I know Harriman tried to race it. I don't know if he made it in or not. Did you catch him on qualifying at all?
I don't remember seeing him. If he did, he was on there pretty quickly. Because they had, I think it was over 60 guys in each class for this weekend. So pretty big amount for what they normally have. So it was like 20 plus didn't even get to make the night show. So that's pretty
Jeez.
crazy. We haven't really had that in a while. So, but yeah, nothing super crazy. Just your basic racing until we got to those main events, really.
Nice. And correct me if I'm wrong. We're 2 for 2 with Preston Baselug in the main event, correct?
He did not make it this last one.
Oh,
He
damn. We're 1 for
one,
2.
he was one out though, so he was your first guy in the LCQ who didn't make it, unfortunately. So he ended up getting I think it was I don't know what award it is. There's like a $500 award going around for the guy that gets 5th place in the LCQ, which is it's a bummer, but that's still a pretty solid showing for his second race. You know, you can't be too mad at that.
Yeah. Well, here, this is since I'm since I'm fired up today, this is how I feel
Fired.
about it. This is my reaction to what you just told me.
Yeah, pretty much though.
Results.
No, you were
Bummer.
close though. He was right there. He rode really well though. Like I think he said he had just a couple mistakes, and you know he was right there. He'll get back in there. I think in the Daytona for sure.
Yeah. Speaking of other unfortunate stuff that happened at Arlington, I see that Team Triumph did not triumph to the top.
Nope. Another rough weekend for debuting brands this year. I feel like Beta and Triumph are just kind of coming up short, you know, and nothing to say about their riders or the bike or anything like that. They're just having some bad luck with Jalik coming up short in the main event. And I think it was Evan Ferry. He ended up getting hurt in press day or something like that. I was seeing.
I heard press day. So unfortunate for Evan Ferry. I mean, he is 0 for 2 on scoring points. I mean, he got slammed into the wall. Welcome to Supercross, and then welcome the press day. Have a dirt nap. So hopefully he'll be all right for Daytona. I know I'm looking forward to watching that. And Horn Rapids will have service if someone provides me with a hotspot. Because I'm cheap like that. I have a 55-inch television, so we can make some trades.
There you go. Give him a couple photos for some Wi-Fi that night.
Yeah, but bummer for Triumph. Let me open the chat here. Someone says, let me know if you need to fill in a guest host. I'm assuming with the American flag, that might be Matthew Miner. So we'll go with that. Yeah. If not, I could
maybe we'll need to do some. If you need a week off or I need a week off, maybe we'll bring in an extra co-host here and there.
I was right. It is Matthew Miner. I hopped on and competed on the PNW Moto Media Group. If someone wants to make me an admin for PNW Motocross, I mean, can get even more viewers and talk about more racing. And Sunny says she's got a hot spot, so we're going to make some trades for Daytona Supercross watching.
And that'll be nice, though. I think it's another earlier one. I'm really liking this earlier East Coast stuff for us a little bit. I think we're starting at like 4:00 now. I think it might even be earlier for Daytona. So,
I'll have to check your local listings.
Yeah, right.
But Arlington happened. The track looked a lot more peaky than the prior tracks, which, in my opinion, by kind of skimming the racing and whatnot. I know I failed again by not watching the full main events, but I'm just going to talk about it because why not wing it anyways.
You pretty much, I'm sure, have seen most of the highlights of what really happened.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, news got around like it was a hot pocket. Like, it just, everything that happened, we'll get into the 250 main, the 450 main. What do you think about the track layout? I thought it developed for great racing, especially in the heat races.
It looked pretty good. The track looked fun. I feel like, honestly, this was one of the better tracks. I heard a lot of people saying that it was one of the worst Arlington tracks, but then I also heard some people saying that it was one of the nicer tracks. It did break down over the night, which, obviously every track is going to. But overall, I think it had a pretty good, turnout. I feel like it wasn't too crazy. We didn't have any crazy ruts that really, took anybody out. Obviously, somebody really got taken out pretty badly, which we'll get to in a little bit. But overall, I felt like the track ended up being pretty good. It led for some kind of boring racing, I felt a little bit, but it ended up being a good night though.
I don't know if boring is the correct word.
Maybe not.
Probably like not as much
Lackluster.
movement and passing as expected.
Yeah,
I'll brush up your wording for you. But Malcolm Stewart in the heat race looks like original Mookie OG came out, and I had my hopes up, and it looked like he did better in that main event. I want to say he got 9th place overall.
Yep, I believe so. I believe it was like 9th or 10th. Even with the little fall there at the beginning, I believe with him and Roxon, he still ended up, he's getting better each weekend. He's definitely nowhere near where he was those first few rounds where he was barely even getting into the top 20.
Yeah, I'm pulling up the results right now because, like I said, I've been so busy.
Right.
Deegan throws his bike, so that bingo card for Moto Memes is just definitely getting all filled out.
Yep, I think we hit a bingo this weekend, if I remember right.
Okay, I'll have to look at that later. So yeah, I was right on guessing. Malcolm Stewart 9th, so we're looking better for Husqvarna.
Except for Craig now, obviously. We're having some issues with him, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately with him, I don't know what's going to happen with his career. I mean, we're on a contract year.
Yep.
Fighting a sickness. He's been just, I feel like he's a depressed rider out there. Like he's trying and it hasn't worked out for him. I wonder if a change of scenery would help him out.
I think because ever since he went to that Husky, I feel like he hasn't done the best of his potential. I feel like he needs to get another switch. I feel like he needs, I don't know, some kind of like you're saying, another scenery for him might be good because maybe he needs to go to like a Hep Suzuki or something where they can really I feel like focus on him a little bit too. And I feel like where he's at, they're putting a lot of focus in Mookie right now, and it's really not getting anywhere maybe. Who knows, though? We're not really there seeing what's going on day to day. But I feel like Christian has a lot more that he can do, and I don't think he has the tools to get to where he actually belongs right now.
Well, and sometimes, which will tie into the local teams later on, I just sometimes like a talking point here. If you notice with Tomac, he started getting pretty over it at Cowie, so he transitioned to Yamaha, and it worked out for him. And the same with Anderson on Husky, like he won the championship there, and then he moved on to Cowie.
Cooper jumping from KTM to Yamaha this year,
Yeah, and that was even controversial / worrying because in the SMX races, he was not like a new Cooper Webb after taking all that time off, leaving, during the during the motocross season, and now he's come back. He's taken over kind of the top role at the moment as Tomac still recovers for the 450 class, and it's great to see Webb fighting with Lawrence. Do you want to jump in the 250s first or 450s? I got everything in my head, so we can just go into whatever.
We could just jump 450 since we're already kind of dabbling there, and we'll go back to the 250s.
Yeah, so it was nice seeing Tomac bounce back. Like I said, I mean, Glendale, he faded back, and then I don't know if you've been listening to any of the podcasts between Steve Mathis and Jason Thomas, but they've been fighting for like weeks now. Do you think Tomac, and I'll pitch their question to you for a talking point. Not that I'm trying to ride their coattails, but do you think Tomac's in it or is Tomac out? He's 13 points down now.
I think he's still in it. You can't count him out ever, I feel, to be honest. But definitely he's not the same Tomac, I feel, as we had last year before he got hurt. But I'll never count out Tomac. We got Daytona coming up, and we all know how well he rides there. So I think another really good ride after this podium this weekend, I think, can just give him the confidence he needs to get back to where he was before he got injured last year.
Yeah, and it seems he's warming up now, especially going into Daytona, where he has the most wins as of anyone, beating Carmichael as well on win total. I'm curious to see if the second place ride he got Saturday night keeps the momentum going, because it seems like no one's really taken the throne in the 450 class yet.
No.
I was thinking Lawrence was going to run away with it, and it looked like that with, going towards the later end of the racing, and then classic rookie mistakes. He throws it away, and then some people were blowing up Vince Freeze and whatnot. It was
No,
I'm not a Vince Freeze defender
no.
or a fan or anything, but I think, in my opinion, which you can have your opinion too, I think Lawrence freaked out, thought he
Hmm.
could get an opening to the inside, and it just didn't happen. And Vince was actually trying his best. Like, if you look at the top corner when Webb was coming around, he takes a glance back and sees
Hmm.
Webb and Lawrence. So he slowed down and got all the way out of the racing line that he thought. And then Lawrence wanted to, put a bike where it couldn't fit.
Right. I just think Lawrence, like you said, rookie mistake. He should have been looking up a little more going through those whoops. And if anything, he should have just followed, Cooper around him there. That would have been the smarter idea. But I think he was expecting maybe Vince to get through the whoops a little bit quicker than he did, and he just ended up right on him at the wrong time, and you can't blame Vince for anything wrong on that one. He was full aware. He was on the inside line, which was one of the faster lines, of the
Yeah.
night for some of the guys. But if you're the fast guy trying to get around a lapper, sometimes you're going to have to take a line that you don't really want to. So he just really made a big mistake there, and it cost him a little more than it should have. But
Well,
that was all on Jet for sure.
yeah. And then also, I mean, if you look at the way the corner is set, the 180 degrees to the
Mm-hmm.
right, I mean, he would get actually more on the way if
Mm-hmm.
he diverted all the way to the outside, which was the right. He'd
Right.
have to cross in front of Cooper, and that would have
Yep.
caused even more of an uproar.
He held his line, and which is what he should have done. If
Yeah.
if the faster guys need to get around him, it's their job to figure out a way around them. He just needs to hold his line and maybe let up a tad. But obviously the whoops, he's not going to let up that much. He was still racing for a top 10 at that point, I believe. If you're racing for a top 10, you're not going to move over as easy as like the 15th through 22nd guys. So like I said, in the end, that was just Jet. He should have been looking up a little more, or just moved over to the right and just followed Coop around him, and he could have gotten Coop in the next turn or two. It just those rookie mistakes, and like you said though too, whole shot, and I thought he was going to be gone until he landed on that tough block. Unfortunately.
Yeah, we've seen that happen before. I don't know if you
Yep.
recall in 03 when Carmichael
Yep.
did the same thing, jumping to the outside, he
Yep.
landed on the hay bales, and well, sometimes when you land on a hay bale, it works for your favor, and sometimes it doesn't. Luckily, it was kind
Yep.
of a pillow landing, so he didn't
Yep.
hurt himself.
I feel like every little get off the Jets had this year has been very like gentle, and he's always like walking out of it somehow.
It's
I
like
feel like
somebody
he
just
hasn't.
throws the pillow there.
Yeah, he's just gradually steps off his bike for the most part. Luckily, he's got those long legs. I think that helps him stay off the ground.
And it could have been bad too, because if you saw the first crash, like Vince jumps by and like from at least the camera angle, I'm sure there was more gap than there was shown. It looked like he could have just got hit by a semi there.
It was close. It was still pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah, so Supercross sketchy. He's only 3 points ahead now in the point standings as he still carries the red plate. I guess that injury for Sexton's really hampering him. 6th place. I hope he can bounce back, but I feel like if we're gonna argue anyone that's out of it, I feel like the grip is starting to get a little slippery for Sexton because of this wrist injury he's got.
Yeah, I was hearing on a couple shows and a couple Instagram posts. So supposedly pulling in the clutch has been hard for him. So that's going to be tough. There's a lot of clutching going on for a Supercross race and whatnot. So hopefully he's doing some no clutch motos during the week to heal up. So I don't want to see Chase, drop off the face of the earth, but I feel like you're saying, he's the one that's kind of dropped off the most so far in the last couple rounds now.
Yeah, and with that win, Cooper Webb is now 3 points behind, and as you were the Aaron Plessinger denier at the opening podcast, he's not that far behind. He's only 2 plus 5. That's 7, folks.
Yeah,
7 points behind. I mean, Mr.
The number 7 is down 7.
Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah. Look at that.
But no, he still has a chance, but we still have a long way to go. And I think with Jet and Cooper now kind of being the top 2 guys, I think it's really honestly going to be between the 2 of them for the rest of the series.
Yeah, I mean, for the sakes of it, for our podcast and talking points, so we can just freestyle, let's hope this goes down to the final round so
Right.
we can continue to
Right.
talk about the craziness, because luckily it hasn't been a boring season,
No.
as
No, not at all.
other seasons have been.
Yeah, I'm
We
glad
we can
what are we
argue our
at?
boring seasons.
What are we at? 6 winners now, or something like that, or 5 winners in 7 rounds, which
Yes, 5
you
winners
don't
in 7 rounds.
you don't see that too often, which is really cool to see. And we could still see, Eli get up there is very possible, and I feel like it's very possible for, Daytona to have a fluke winner. Sometimes we get those here and there. So we had Brayton a few years back, but we'll have to wait and see. I feel like it's been a really good year so far, though.
Yeah. Anything else to touch on in the 450 class other than
Um,
what do you think about the Alpine Star gear? I got something
oh,
lined up on what we
that
thought.
that one was a little rough. Out of all the kits for the military appreciation, I wasn't a big fan. When I first saw the stripes on the side, I was like, "What the f?"
Did it remind
Like
you of this?
it really did. Low key, from the back and the side for sure looked like a Beetlejuice costume. Like they went to Spirit on the way to the track.
I'm like thinking because it's military appreciation. I'm all like, which branch has stripes? I'm
Right. I
really
don't think I've ever
curious
seen
which
that.
branch has stripes. I'm like going through the pages. I'm like, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know which one has stripes. Help me out,
Yeah.
Bobby Castile,
What
because I have no freaking idea.
what was it supposed to be for? Navy, I think, if I remember
I'm
right, or I don't even
assuming
know
it was
honestly.
Navy.
The blue
Yeah,
had to be Navy, I think. The Alpine Star kits were, the boots I know are blue, white, and gold. So that's the only thing I can think they would possibly do that. But stripes like that,
they
no,
weren't
they
bad.
missed the
I was
mark.
just confused. I was
Yeah.
just like, I don't know what it's representing.
Mm-hmm.
And the Yamaha kit looked pretty good, the
Yeah.
camo, but I don't feel like that many people did much military
No.
appreciation compared to prior years with San Diego. I was kind of let down
Mm-hmm.
with the graphic kits and the gear choices.
PC, always shows up for the military appreciation one, which I always
Hmm.
think is kind of cool. I wish they would do some more outside the box graphics like that because I feel like, some retro kits would have been really cool when they did the retro race, but obviously it was a mudder, so it really wouldn't have mattered as much. But
Yeah.
PC always has the cool military kits, and they had that Silver Fox kit that actually went really cool with everything. I thought was pretty spot on.
Yeah, so for themed gears so far, I don't know if we have any more themes coming up in the rest of the series. I still feel
I
the
don't think
retro
so.
weekend overpowers the military
Mm-hmm.
appreciation.
Oh yeah, for sure. I feel like there was way more bikes. We even had all the satellite teams like Solitaire and Moto Concepts were
The
running.
James Stewart replicas.
Yep, yep. Was that Bubba Pauly's team? I can't remember what their team is now, but yeah,
Yeah.
we had a few good retro kits. Obviously, some of them weren't spot on good, but they at least put in an effort. Unlike the military, I feel like we get 2 out of 5 teams actually putting in an effort for it.
Yeah, so step it up teams for next year. Not that my
Right.
opinions make a difference.
Maybe it will by next year. Who knows?
All right, jumping into the hot topic, the 250 main.
Yes.
Deegan got the whole shot, and Austin Faulkner looked like he wasn't going to be a classic Faulkner. Grabbed the
Nope.
lead early and held position. And what happened, Grayson?
Well, unfortunately, he kind of pulled a Faulkner. The last 4 years now, he's walked off the track injured for the most part. I think 3 or 4 years now, and this was a bad one though. This was really rough to watch, and seeing the disappointment on his face as well, getting carted off, really just hurt. I'm not like the biggest Faulkner fan, but I know he is one of the fastest guys that actually can throw down some laps nowadays, but he's just had a very long streak of bad luck, and I'm hoping he can bounce back from this one with I think it was a couple vertebrae fractures and stuff
I
like
was
that.
shocked they
So
had him walk off onto the mule. Like, why didn't they
I
put him
was
on the
too.
backboard? That was.
Mm-hmm.
I know our
He looked
medics.
like he was in pain.
Well, I know our medics are like on top of it, like 99.9% of the time, especially in Supercross. But I was
Yep.
freaking flabbergasted. I'm like, why are you
Yeah.
walking him off if he's
Yep.
got a couple broken vertebrae, like, dude, that's
he slammed that
sketch.
concrete so hard, which I feel like, maybe in the future we can get into like safety protocols or something about racing, but I feel like something needs to happen where we can get some kind of foam padding lining that cement now or something,
It's
like
turned into a gymnasium.
honestly, let's put some wrestling mats down or something like that. Cause I feel like that it might not have completely saved him, but it might have helped a little bit. Cause that was way too gnarly. And we never want to watch somebody go down like that, especially how well he was riding. He was consistent and he was running away for a little bit, but Deegan was kind of tracking him down a little bit. And then supposedly I saw somewhere one of his contacts might have popped out. Who knows if that was true or what that would even be like, because I don't wear contacts or glasses. I don't know how much that would affect you, but I feel like that would be pretty interfering if you have a contact pop out right before something like that happens.
Or it happened on impact because the dude freaking broke the concrete.
Yeah, that was insane. Because he was probably, 15 feet in the air, roughly, give or take, when he fully dropped down.
He literally looked like a foul ball in an MLB freaking baseball game, like getting sent to the line. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, that was bad. So hopefully, best recoveries to him, and hopefully he can get back out there a little sooner. Obviously, I've seen he doesn't have to have any surgeries, so that's a positive. But sometimes no surgery means you're out just a tad bit longer. So let's hope he can get recovered. It's only February. Who knows? Maybe he can make it back by the outdoors.
Yeah. Well, if Nate Thrasher had a gnarly crash, Austin Faulkner said, "Hold my beer."
Yep. Seriously though.
God. So the points for the 250 East, it's pretty much like the first round didn't even happen.
No,
like
seriously.
Everything is so jumbled up, and the people that were at the top that were supposed to be at the top after round one were at the bottom, and now they're somewhat at the top again. This is a close race. So just like the 250 West Coast with Kitchen, Hampshire, and Smith, we have something to cheer on because you don't know what's going to happen. My only hesitation is, and I'm not on the Max Anstey train, this is nothing against them. No. I just don't think Max Anstey can hold on with Deegan only 7 points behind and McAdoo. I think it's going to be the Deegan McAdoo show because you have Pierce Brown, rookie Jackson Bennett, Cody Schock. I mean, that's all you have now that he's out for the season.
Yeah, it's for sure. It's for sure a McAdoo, Deegan, and I think there's a small percentage of Anstey in there. We can't count him out completely. He's the only guy that's been in, I think, was at the top 5 the first 2 weekends now, or top 10 or something like that. So we can't completely count him out, but for sure it is way more of a percentage of a McAdoo Deegan championship this season if they can stay up and healthy.
Well, yeah, I mean, who knows? We've had so much I don't know if diversity is the right word, but we've had so much up and downs with the points and whatnot. I mean, who knows? I'll probably be like you with Aaron Plessinger comments. I'll probably be eating my own words here with Anstey, and he could be our champion. But I think Deegan, now that Deegan's main competition is out, and we know how McAdoo is, he's like the Austin Faulkner, but he's like the Gumpy version where he somehow doesn't get hurt.
He'll wad it up, but he'll be back the next weekend.
He might go wild and out. So I feel like Deegan's got the most confidence now to ride this home, and hopefully he doesn't go, super balls out to where he throws it away too. All these classes for the Supercross series, like, it's going to come down to the end, in my opinion.
It is. I hope it is too, because I feel like that just makes for even more of an exciting year. Obviously, the riders want to lock it up and get the championship a little bit sooner, but for the fans and the people watching at home, it's definitely way more fun to watch it come down to the very last couple races, is for sure. But I think Deegan, honestly, if he stays smart and doesn't ride over his head, I think this is his championship. And with him salvaging those points at Detroit was super smart. He didn't end up getting a lot of points, but it definitely, like we always say, the first race, you can't win the championship, but you can lose it. So he did everything he could to keep that title hope alive. So
Yeah, because even if you look at it, your KTM rider,
Vial.
he is not in it at all because,
Mm-hmm.
he had that first turn issue at Detroit. And just looking at the points right now, I mean, he's obviously more than 12 back because I'm looking at the Supercross thing. It's only showing me the top 10. So I think Vial will be more, again, I'm sucking at wording tonight, valuable for the outdoors because that's more of his forte. So
yeah, coming from the GPs, he's got a lot more experience there. So
yeah, I just think that will be like more of his like favorable racing and whatnot, and that could be like the Deegan VL battle for outdoors and Hampshire. But I mean, we can call this Levi Kitchen show. I think Pro
Kitchen's going to
Circuit's
come
got
out
it figured
swinging.
out.
I think Kitchen's going to come out swinging outdoors too. So,
well, and then have you noticed how Pro Circuit has changed dramatically? They're starting to get back in their old habits. I mean, all three riders were in the top 4 before Faulkner exited stage right. And McAdoo's looking better. Haymaker's looking better. Kitchen's obviously on fire. I think Pro Circuit has a fighting chance this year to steal at least one title.
No, I do too. I think this is PC's year to come back and become the PC team that we've seen in the past. Like when we had, Tedesco on the team, we had Villapoto on the team, and they were the team you wanted to be on before Star Yamaha kind of came in and took over a little bit. I feel like this is their year to start coming back, and it's only going to get better from here.
Yeah. Anything else to touch on for Supercross that you can think of before I jump into some hot takes?
Only thing, right? Only thing, that was actually, if you think about it, that was only Deegan's first actual, Supercross win so far. He did win SMX title and win a couple SMX stuff, but that was only his first Supercross actual win. So that was kind of cool to see. I hear a lot of people that are really mad about his interview on the podium and whatnot. So I don't think we need to be mad at him. He's a kid right now and he's having fun, and we got to let him enjoy this first win, whether it was from a Faulkner crash or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you have a take on that.
I don't. Deegan. Luckily, he's not stale. I mean, as much as I've loved Ryan Dungey, and he's my rider and whatnot, a lot of his post-race interviews were pretty stale, and there was nothing there. At least, Deegan gives you a little bit of controversy and something to talk about.
We got the whole Deegan Pastrana era going on now. We've got somebody who's the dark side again a little bit, and it's kind of nice to have.
You should just roll up with shoulder pads with spikes on them for one of the races.
I'm waiting. I've been waiting for that since he debuted last year. At least one of the days to show up with the chest protector and during press or something with spikes. I'm still holding out hope one day it'll happen.
Introducing the number 38 on the Star Monster Yamaha, Hayden Metal Militia Deegan.
We need to get Militia back on the sponsorship for Star Yamaha like it was 10 years ago.
Low key, I'm kind of surprised they're not back on the sponsorship, but who knows?
I am too. Maybe one day.
Well, there is one topic I do want to discuss, and I'm trying to be very careful with it because everyone kind of gets sensitive when it comes to anything in the Pacific Northwest at this point. Local teams, they've come in and out. I don't know if you remember Underdog Racing back in the day. We had Full Throttle Racing.
Yep.
A lot of things come and go. Knowing my own experience and also seeing Fresh Start fold up his thing, and then I kind of coincidentally did somewhat of the same thing today. I just kind of said, hey guys, I need to focus back on me because 2023 was super fun, but it took a toll out on me. I don't know if you could really tell that 2023 was...
Oh, yeah. Oh, I've seen it. I saw it coming and going. That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's so here's my thing that I'm trying to discuss because not that it's a bad thing, but it just sometimes this is my like hesitation when it comes to team stuff because I tried it myself. I felt like we were having a cold war in 2023 of who's going to snatch all the Pokemon.
Yep.
And unfortunately, with racing and whatnot, it's a competitive sport. And even though I think the majority of people like me and whatnot, parents don't always get along with each other. Have you seen anything with any of the quote unquote teams, like, not even just in the Northwest, just like, in our careers of motocross? Have you seen like the pros and cons of it?
I've seen a little bit of everything. I've never been a part of one or like, super close to them, but like I've seen them come and go. I've been at the track since I was like 5 years old. So I've seen so many people try to do it, and it's a hard thing to do. It's especially if you're not, getting a lot of support and a lot of, help from outside people and whatnot to kind of run it, kind of like you are. It's just you pretty much. You have your
Yeah.
sponsors here on your canopy and things like that to help out, but it's hard, to try and support as many people as you can and, try and grow the sport and your brand at the same time. And, over time, it just takes a toll on you, especially if you're, like a person like you, which the majority of these people who start these smaller teams in the Northwest or even just all over the country, these smaller teams, they're probably working full-time, part-time jobs on the side. You've got your part-time job, your
Yep.
photography stuff, your reels on the side as well. And then also trying to keep all these people, that are on your team happy for, whatever, discounts and, promotional things you help them with and whatnot. But yeah, no, it's really tough, and it sucks to see because I love seeing these people show up to the tracks with teams. It creates a camaraderie with the families and stuff like that, and you can make new friends. But like you're saying too, some of the parents out there, they just don't get along, and they're going to start butting heads, and even just the riders themselves are going to start butting heads over time, and it's just going to frustrate the person who's trying to help them out over time. And I feel like that's kind of probably where you're getting to pretty soon.
I don't know why it was just kind of a coincidence that both Fresh Start and I both kind of took separate approach. He took more of the extreme stuff
Yeah.
versus me, but everyone's got different reasonings and whatnot. My issue that I had with mine, and I didn't quote end in my team, it's just I kind of reframed, and that's why I'm on tonight, kind of readdressing for anyone that watches. There's so many conflicting sponsors. I mean, you got some people with this certain dealership, that dealership, so they can't be under a canopy if it's labeled, sponsor A, B, or C. So that causes conflicts. Obviously, parking and camping gets to be a little much. I know Ryan was really nice at Washougal with me and let me have like a decent size. Like he didn't say anything against it, but just all the pain of like, hey, I got this area roped off for this group and whatnot. And then some some people not showing up on time, so then you look like the idiot carrying so much holding so much space, and then so they go up. So it takes on too much, and I got tired of fighting everyone because at the end of the day, you're gonna find a spot. We're here to race dirt bikes. We're here to have fun. And it just got to the point where I'm all like, dude, I'm not even having fun anymore. I'm like, I need to get back to just doing the media. If you run my stuff, you'll get discounts. If you don't run my stickers, well, I'm sorry, but I'm trying to make a living here and not work at Fred Meyer for life. So this is my rant. Put on my stuff. If not, get charged full price.
No, for sure. Then that's, for what you were doing a lot there for, a lot of people. I remember, was it Carter? You got him a 60 helmet that was painted or something like that.
And what bums me out, and what's been like, and I'm not gonna name, but everyone knows it's been eating at me for a while, especially this last winter, because like I had a core group and I've lost part of my core group, and I don't know how I feel about it. Like it makes me. I understand it, but it does bum me out seeing someone that I've sponsored for a while and then they don't want to be a part of it because the group got too big, got too chaotic. And I'm just kind of the point where I'm like, hey, I feel you. I mean, luckily, what I'm working on is like, if you want to be under the canopy, do it. But I'm not going to like. I'm gonna ask you once if you like. Hey, do you want to be part of it this weekend? If not, you do you, boo.
Right. I remember, was it last year? I think I was talking to you. You had over 120 something people or something like on your team or whatever. I don't even know the exact number.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like that, and I know why you're doing it. You're trying to help out as many people as you possibly can and, make these connections and make these people, stoked on going to the racetrack and having a good time with all these people. And, it just ended up being a little too much. And
I started feeling like
it's gonna happen.
I started feeling like Spider-Man trying to hold the train on the track, like
right. There's too much going on, and your intentions, for what you were doing were awesome. You're trying to get as many people to help and support and be there to help all these little guys up and coming and whatnot, and little girls and all these kind of parents, kids, whoever. You were there to help them in any way you possibly could, and giving them a place to park was always super cool because I felt like the kids really enjoyed that. It makes them feel like a factory rider because how often do these kids get to roll up under these huge old, awnings with the guardrails and whatnot like that?
Yeah.
So it's super cool what you were doing. But yeah, like you're saying, it ended up becoming too much. And I feel like that's what happens with a lot of teams. And they don't, especially when you're trying to focus on yourself and, your businesses and whatnot, it just becomes a lot.
Yeah. And so this is one thing I'm trying to transition to because one person does a really good job on it, and that's Mike Smith with the Clinic MX. I mean, if you go around, it's not a team. It's
a team. Yeah.
It's like Dunlop Elite, and like he's got a crew, and everyone is repping him. Like it's just like go shred, go shred, go shred, go shred everywhere. And the positive vibes are going. Everyone's having fun. And I think even sometimes Mike probably gets in that same stance of like, oh my God, like so much drama at times. But
I'm sure
like
he does.
That everyone can be spaced apart. He went and enjoyed Hangtown this past weekend with the Langs and a couple others. Like, that's kind of what I want to do. I'll still put the canopy up and everything. And then, like I said, if anyone wants to be a part of it, I'm going to buy stands and just leave them out. And if you want to be under it, be under it. If you don't,
kind of a first come, first serve type of thing a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, because I've noticed even like, for example, as stupid as it is with parking and camping spots, like it has affected signups with certain people because they got, their panties in a bunch, rightfully so, because they showed up on time. And then they're like, what do you mean I can't park close? Right.
Well, and I get that, but you got to remember, like our tracks, they're limited. Sometimes we're gonna have to take the crap into the stick every once in a while, but there's no reason to take it out on you and get their panties in a wad, like you're saying. Like,
yeah, and I'm not blaming anyone. It's self-inflicted too, because I'm trying to do so much, and then you spread yourself so thin. Luckily, like this past weekend, it was really great. I had Hunter Burlett under there and Ryder Griffith. They haven't had the opportunity to be under the canopy, so I'm trying to get it to where everyone can mix in and out when they can. And then Ryder and Hunter became friends by the end of the weekend. That was the original goal. But like I said, I mean, going around about, some people just don't gel with others, which is perfectly fine. I mean, I don't gel with people as well. I mean,
we all have, we all have our moments. We all can click together, but then, some people you're just not going to. And like you said, that's perfectly okay. But like you honestly did something really cool then, having those two guys under your tent and then becoming friends by the end of the weekend. That's huge. They just they might have a friendship for the rest of their life now. Who knows?
Yeah. So I'm going to keep trying to do what I do. It's just, I'm going to try to not quote unquote enforce any. I didn't feel like I was enforcing it, but I felt like if I asked once and then I asked twice, I'm like, okay, they obviously don't want to be a part. They don't want to be a part this weekend, but maybe in the future.
And it's kind of a bummer thing too, like I feel like some people, they understand how like sponsorship roles work and things like that. But like, if you're getting a sponsorship, you're getting a discount from somebody, and somebody says, hey, can you make sure you're running my logo in this spot or whatever, like the little things. And I felt like you weren't like the super pickiest person in the world. Obviously you want your logo to look right.
Besides that.
Right. You want your logo to look right. You want to have your logo in a couple certain spots where it's visible. And if somebody can't, manage to do that and they get upset with it, then they need to figure something else out. Because nowadays, it's not about what the sponsor can do for you. It's about what you can do for that sponsor. Like how are you going to help that brand grow bigger and then also grow yourself at the same time? It's a different time now, and a lot of people still don't understand. I feel like we need to have some kind of etiquette classes for sponsorships and teams nowadays.
That transitions into my next, and again, I'm not trying to rant.
Just rant. Let it out. Let it out. Let it out.
Oh, no. I have to be please. Yep. What grinds my gears and blows the Kawasaki's up. Sorry, Kawasaki's sponsor. I make basic agreements and whatnot, and still, even this past weekend, I've mailed out so many stickers on my own dime, and they're still not on bikes. Like, bro, come on.
Mm-hmm.
Not difficult.
Some people make it way more difficult than it needs to be. And like you said, you're mailing things out on your own dime. Like
this is my one and done. You want discount? Put the stickers on in one of the 3 locations. We're done.
That sounds a little too difficult. Can I counteract that and say I'm not going to put your logo anywhere, and I'm gonna go screenshot it and consider that a sponsorship instead.
You know what? Goodbye.
Wow.
You forget I am the master controller.
But no, like you're saying, it's not that hard to just be considerate with the guy that's trying to help you out a little bit. Like, come on now.
That's all I ask. Okay, I got my rants out.
Are you sure you don't want to keep going? Like Monday therapy, here we go. Come on now.
I still gotta get signups for this weekend if I'm trying to make a living. I can't rant too hard, or else people aren't gonna like me.
Hey, they might like you more if you rant even harder. Who knows?
Hey, at least I try to be fully transparent. Just tell you how I feel. Yeah. Sometimes,
no, seriously,
sometimes it doesn't. That's all I really got. I don't know. You got any rants? You got any retail rants you want to talk about? We still got a couple minutes left. We're 47 minutes in.
Luckily I'm almost a year and a half out of the retail, so I don't really got any rants on the retail anymore. But damn, if I couldn't rant about I couldn't do that anymore. But now that I do a lot more driving, which I'm sure you do too as well.
Left lane campers.
Just drivers, dude. Like I drive a box truck, 2 to 3 days a week at least, for 6 hours a day roughly. And I don't know how many times I have been almost sideswiped by little smart cars. And especially today, like I went up to Portland and on my way back, it was starting to snow. So everybody completely forgot how to drive. And I'm loaded down with, hundreds of pounds of stuff and a giant brick chimney in the back of my truck. So I'm like, yeah, stop in front of me and see what happens to your little smart car. Like, come on now.
Dude, I don't know what is us with drivers, and like if I'm in my daily, no one messes with me. If I'm in my Sprinter, everyone and their grandma messes. I'm like, what in the world?
It's crazy. It's crazy. Like I'll literally in my truck or like the smaller work truck that I take sometimes, not a problem. I can just cruise and not deal with the single problem. But as soon as I'm in the big box truck or a U-Haul or anything, that's a little bit bigger than a normal full-size truck, then people completely forget how to drive, and they really like to give you the finger when you're just minding your business in the right lane going 65.
I don't know. We're just at this point of the show where we're just, doing.
I don't know what we're yelling about!
Seriously, I don't know anymore.
How long you want to keep this podcast going? You want to be done after Supercross or what?
I don't know. We'll see where we're at.
I might need a break. We might have to do alternate weekends.
We could take a break for sure because you're going to have a lot more going on with.
I still got 5 more reels to do once we're done with this, and then I got to be at work at 5 a.m. tomorrow. So yeah, Red Bull Life.
Yeah, we could definitely go every other or whatever we need to do. We'll figure it out when the time comes.
Hopefully, my funeral will have a lot of people because it's coming.
Well, we'll live stream it.
Too dark.
We'll live stream it.
30+2 podcast.
I'll bring in a couple guest hosts, and we can all share our stories.
In memory. Okay, we took a real dark turn.
That's okay.
Well, coming up, Horn Rapids, that is gonna be a banger. 40 plus man gates usually, because one, it's the Puro series.
Yep.
Love it, hate it, whatever you want. It's one of the top-notch series that's been going on for over 20 years. I'll be there. If you pay Grayson enough, he'll be there.
Hey, yeah. We can carpool up there. Somebody wants to pay my entry for the weekend, buy me a couple burgers from the snack shack or something.
I mean, if you want, you can drive up to my undisclosed location, and then you can sleep on an air mattress in the garage portion of the van, because we're not snuggling together in the van.
Oh, man. Damn. Well, then count me out. But no, I love the PRO. Every time I used to go to that one, whether it was Washougal or Albany, always such a good turnout for those races. And I low-key miss them coming down a little bit closer for myself.
Yeah, the closest one this year will be Moto Pacific in Kent, Washington. That will be interesting to see, because this is nothing against it. They just kind of have a Thursday night motocross type of track.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be curious to see what happens with the size of the track and whatnot. I'm sure it will be just fine, and we'll have some great battles. So I'm just curious how it's going to happen. Hopefully we can get more tracks on the West. But like I said, also jumping myself into the promoter role, I know how difficult some stuff can get, especially running tracks. So just a little advice / hey, kudos and whatnot. Always think to those that are running events, especially if they're doing a great job at it, because it is a lot of work. And depending on the series, a lot of it, which I'm thankful to have such an awesome team, a lot of it's moto families going the extra mile to have a successful series or event so their kids can have a great time. And that kind of roundabout goes back to why I continue to do what I do. A lot of media people, as you can tell, have come and gone, but I'm still standing in the rain so my photos can get ripped off one day at a time.
Remember that clip in the beginning of DVDs when it's like, you wouldn't steal a car. You wouldn't steal a
photo, but you would steal a digital photo during the mud races. But would you steal a cheeseburger?
I think you need to put that clip on your website or something. For real.
All right. Well, I don't have anything else to really talk about.
No. Pretty boring weekend for the most part, but yeah. Besides a couple big noticeable things in Supercross, and you just working your butt off like you normally do.
Hey, and like I said, I see someone saying fresh start in full. I mean, I'm going off by what's on Facebook. It said it was a good run. Yeah. So you tell me what's going on. I don't mind having you come on here, but I'm just reading as it is. I'm not trying to cause any drama or info as a talking point and something that was similar to talk about. So, like I said, ask questions before you say something. I mean, fuck it. I don't care.
Right. Well, that's what I saw in the post too. And that's what it led me to believe that they were done. So maybe they didn't fold like a lawn chair completely, but it looked like they weren't going to be around as much as, the past few years or whatever.
So, I mean, I appreciate everything Steve's done. Like I said, it's nothing against. I'm just saying
it's tough.
Based off what I've seen and my opinions and also my own personal experiences, it's a lot of stress and a lot of work, and sometimes everyone needs a break. So
exactly.
Not or upset anyone. So it is.
Oops. Whatever.
I put my life for and have fun and do stuff. So anyway,
let's end on a high note. Where can people find you this next weekend, or how can they find out where you're at?
Could follow or unfollow me at GateDrop_pro on Instagram, or find me at Horn. And yeah, it's gonna be a fun time. Pacific Northwest, motocross, strong. We got lots of racing going on. It's going to get even busier with PRO coming up. You got spring camp, next level MX clinics. That's always a fun thing. We'll have a lot of talking points there. Had a great time hanging out with Rob Manning this weekend. The most I've actually got to hang out with him. He is one rad dude. So if you're looking for various amounts of trainers, I know I shouted out Mike Smith earlier, but yeah, try out every single person, because just like I said, even with teams and parents and whatnot, riders gel with certain trainers and whatnot. That's kind of what I was trying to explain with other stuff going on with trainers and such, because like I've seen it, like some riders gel with these. I mean, heck, it happens in the pro ranks. Austin Faulkner, for example, is now with Rhino. He was with someone else prior, and not everyone works with, it
for sure.
And it's nothing against any of them. It's just sometimes people gel better with others. Short, sweet, and simple.
No, just give it a go. What's it hurt to try a couple different people and see which one fits you best? And like you said, I feel like Mike Smith, he has it pretty figured out, and he's got a really good crew of people that he has got under his tent right now. So
got some
feels like I think he's got it pretty figured out. But there's a bunch of other guys out there as well. Was it Landon Courier? I think is still doing it.
Yeah, Landon Courier, Rob Monsoon Manning, Brandon Kalberg, Jason Valley. I think Donnie Proctor, the list goes on. Mad Dog Racing. Yep. There's so many varieties to choose from. So that's something that's really cool about our sport. And then fun fact, I don't know if Robbie still does it, but Robbie Leach did it back in the past too. He happened to be pretty fast on a dirt bike.
He didn't do it. It wasn't even that long ago. I think it was him and Ryan were doing it down in Albany just a few years back.
Yeah. Well, that's a wrap. You want to do any of your call outs if you want to get any of our 13 viewers?
If you're not following me yet, Instagram, gravy_648. Look me up, Grayson, on Facebook, Gravy Photography as well. Got an idea I'm working on right now, so stay posted on Instagram that I'm working on, trying something a little different rather than getting out and taking pictures of every single person. I'm going to try something a little different here soon, so keep your eyes out on my Instagram for an announcement.
Yeah, and for 100% guaranteed photos, that I'm not going to rant, but for 100% guaranteed photos, make sure to sign up for media coverage. So if you want any media, sign up with your local photographers if you want to keep us around, because as you can tell, a lot of great people have come and gone.
Yep.
We love the sport. I especially love the sport, and that's why, as you can tell behind me, I always like growing the sport and being a part of it. So help goes a long ways, even with a small donation of $8.50.
And $8.50, get you your Starbucks on the way to the track, so you're in a better mood to get them better pictures. It's those little things.
I don't want to sound like a rescue dog commercial,
but we need Sarah McLaughlin playing over some black and white pictures of us, saying, "Help us get to the track so we can take pictures of you or your rider."
The angel. Exactly. All right, with that, since I've caused a ruckus, hopefully 5 days.
We're off the rails.
We're off the rails, and we out.